Hello everyone, welcome back to the Audit and Attestation class. This class is in continuation of the earlier two videos which we have already shared with you on AICPA Professional Code of Conduct, and that include the 9 rules for the member. So far we have already covered the 5 rules. So in this session we will be covering 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th rule. The 6th one is confidential client information rule. 7th one is contingent fee rule. 8th one is commission and referral fee rule, and the 9th one which is form of organization and the name rule for the members. So let's dive into it.
We have discussed rule number 1 to 5. Now 6, 7, 8 and 9. So these are 4 more rules which we need to crack. So confidential client information rule. So rule number 6 is confidential client information rule. General rule is that client specific consent is must to disclose the client confidential information. For example, if you need to disclose any client information, before disclosing that information to any third party, it is required to take the client consent and give a specific consent that I am disclosing these information to this party. That is a general rule. You cannot disclose client confidential information to any third party. But there are certain exceptions to the general rule, in which scenario you can disclose the client confidential information even without taking the consent of the client. Like, what are those rules? First, serve the professional obligation under the compliance with the standard rule and accounting principle. Second is, if you have received any subpoena or summon from any court authorities, right, and you need to produce the document of what you have done, like for example, you have got PCOB inquiry, right, you got any AICPA inquiry, right. In that case of scenario, you can present the client confidential information, but in a way that you have done the respective work, right. Second is like peer reviews. In our very first class we discussed about peer review. Do you guys remember what is peer review? You guys remember peer review?
Yes, so maybe a case where a PCOB asks for another CPA firm to review the work papers or the engagement the other CPA firm has already done. So just to review whether their audit was according to the standards and all.
Yeah, anyone else would like to add what Gurmeet said? What is peer review?
He has included everything. He has covered the right points, all the points.
That will not work, Sanchit.
But yeah, on peer level, I think we discussed at that engagement level within the company, and then at the broader level, which is at AICP level, basically.
Okay, anyone else would like to add? Yeah, Avneet, Jaspreet, Vineet.
So basically, he didn't cover the at an engagement level, which is the SQR we put on engagements. So that piece I think he missed, but yeah, he covered at a macro level that at one firm and the other level we have which AICP points, but at the engagement level also we put an SQR on it so that independence can be checked within the firm at first place.
Got it. Yeah, we discuss about 3 kind of reviews. One is quality review, which is like independent quality review partner who is reviewing the work of the engagement team, which is within the firm. Second is peer review appointed by CPA Board of Accountancy or AICPA. That is another firm reviewing the work of your CPA firm, that all the audit you have done, right? And then PCOB inspection also. So in all these 3 cases of scenario, you are not required to take specific consent from the client. Or in case of subpoena or summon from any authority, board or court, right? Then also you are not required to take specific consent. Next is responding to any inquiry made by the professional ethics division. For example, any of the rules which we have discussed above, and you found guilty in any such rule, like maybe independence rule, integrity or objectivity rule, and then AICPA is doing inquiry on you, right? So in that case of scenario, all the information which AICPA is required for the respective engagement you have performed, you are not required to take specific confirmation from the client. But other than all these four scenarios, if you have to disclose any client confidential information to any third party, you need to take a specific consent for the specific third party from your respective client. Make sense? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if CPA is planning to sell, merge, or do an acquisition of practice, then review of the client confidential information is allowed with precaution. For example, like let's say 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐩𝐿 are a CPA firm, right? They are planning to merge with, let's say, 𝐂𝐨𝐻 and 𝐊𝐿. So 𝐂𝐨𝐻 and 𝐊𝐿 is a CPA firm, 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐩𝐿 is a CPA firm, and now they wants to merge, right? To do the merging, they both wants to understand the valuation of the respective CPA firm, right? For the respective CPA firm, when they are doing the valuation, they might be asking you like how many clients you have, what is the fees you are charging with the respective clients, which clients are good, which clients are bad, what are the risks to the respective client, right? All those information you guys would be exchanging with each other, right? Make sense?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes. So here, when you are doing any merger, acquisition, collaboration, in that case of scenario, as a both the CPA firm like 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐩𝐿 or 𝐂𝐨𝐻 and 𝐊𝐿, you should be over conscious in sharing the client confidential information with each other unless and until you join the hands, right? And if required to share the information, then you need to take a specific consent from the client, right? Next one is contingent fee rule. So in morning, we have discussed or touch base on contingent fee. General rule is no contingent fees is allowed for the audit engagement, review engagement, compilation or attestation services, as well as for the tax returns and claim of refund services. But there are certain exceptions to the general rule. One is when it is from the court order. Like I think this we have seen in one question also, where court has approved contingent fees, right? If it is being approved by the court, then you are allowed to take contingent fees, but otherwise for any attestation, audit engagement, you are not allowed to take the contingent fee. Second is order of public authority, right? Third is presenting a client in an examination of revenue agent. So here, when you are presenting your client for any matter in front of IRS, in that case of scenario, also you can take the contingent fee upon the, you can say, winning of those respective cases. Claiming the tax refund by amending tax return based on the tax issue. For example, previous year income tax return is being filed by your client from any other CPA. And now you have been appointed as an auditor and you are reviewing the previous year return file or current year return your file, and you have seen like the wrong stand has been taken by the previous CPA, which has resulted into over tax payment by the client, which is being permissible under the law. So here you can say like we can change the previous year income tax return file and we can change the stand of the current year income tax return, and it will save your income tax expenses by this much amount, and you can pay me 10% of that as a fee if I win that case. So in that case of scenario, you can take the contingent fee.
So we can claim for the previous year, like if already the return has been filed and refund has been received. Now we examined and we found that we would have claimed more refund.
Yeah, you
so
can
we
revise
can
the
claim
return.
that refund.
Yeah, you can revise the return and claim for refund.
Okay, and we can charge a fee for that.
Contingent fees for that also.
Okay.
This is permissible, right? Claim tax refund by amending tax return. for an amount greater than the threshold reviewed by the Joint Committee on Internal Revenue Taxation, which is 1 million. Next is requesting for a reduction in assessed value of property. So, for example, like IRS has assessed certain value of the property for the property tax. This is for property tax matter, and they have taken like high property tax for you. And now you are saying like I can apply in front of the respective tax authority, property tax authority, and I can help you in reducing the value of your property, which may result into the lower property tax. And if I achieve to win that position, then I will be charging certain percentage of the amount saved as a fee for it. So then in US, like a lot of CPA and lawyer do this work. So that is permissible in US. Next is representing the client in a private letter ruling. So how in India we have advanced ruling, right? Same way in US, it is called private letter of ruling. So advanced ruling in US, it is called private letter of ruling. So in that case of scenario, if you are saving certain tax amount, you can charge the contingent fee for the client. So these are certain exceptions to the general rule. Ideally, for audit and attestation client, you cannot charge contingent fee, but you need to remember all these 5-6 points. These are exception to the general rule. Make sense? Kashish, Sanchit, Rahul.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Okay. So next one is commission and referral fee. Member in public practice should not act as an agent for commission or referral fee to provide audit and review service, like we were discussing earlier about insurance agent. So if you are doing audit of that insurance company, you should not work as an insurance agent for that company. So, or maybe compilation service or attestation service, unless disclose the fact both to both the parties. So if you are already an insurance agent and you are doing this work from a long time for that respective insurance company, and now you have been appointed as an auditor for that respective company, and what all work you are doing for that respective company is in normal course of action, then you need to disclose that fact that you are already working as an agent for that respective insurance company and you are charging this much commission and so on and so forth. All the things you need to disclose upfront. But ideally for audit engagement of such a big company, they do not allow you to be the commission agent or referral. So it may otherwise result into other problems. So generally it's not allowed, but theoretically by giving the disclosure you are allowed to do that, right? So this is rule number 8. 9 is rule number is form of organization and name rules. So as a CPA firm, so what all kind of formation you can do and what all names you can apply for the CPA firm, right? So here you need to keep in mind 2 rules. One is state law and regulation. Second is AICPA council resolution. So these 2 things you need to keep in mind when you are making the formation of your CPA firm or when you are applying for the name of the CPA firm. To apply the name or to consider the name for the CPA firm, what all rules and regulation you need to keep in mind and what all kind of formation you can do for the CPA firm. So 2 rules, one is state law and regulation, second is AICPA council and resolution. First thing, let's look at left hand side. What are the state law and regulation? State law and regulation says the firm name should not be misleading. The firm name should not be misleading. Like for example, if it is a CPA firm, let's say Rajat, Vineet and Jaspreet and associate, a CPA firm. So it clearly says that major CPAs are Rajat, Vineet and Jaspreet in that CPA firm. But we should not be writing Google a CPA firm, right? It's misleading. It's showing like Google is the major CPA over here, whereas like Google in itself is a different company. So it should not be saying NASA a CPA firm. It should not be saying United States of America CPA firm, right? So the name should not be misleading. The name should be clear indication of the owners or proprietors or the partners or maybe the objective of the organization. Make sense? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Second is, in case of succession, name of one or more past owner may be included. So, for example, there is a firm called Vineet, Jasprit and Avneet, a CPA firm. And now this firm has been taken over by, let's say, Garvit and Rahul CPA firm. So here, the new firm name should carry at least one old partner name, so that it will in front of client, it should not be a complete transition, and the client can correlate with what it was previously and what it is now. So the new firm name could be VJA, Rahul and Garvit, right? So those kind of name you need to give as per the state law and regulation, so that it should not be complete changeover for the client perspective as well as public perspective, right? Fourth is, a member may own interest in a separate business. So there are, let's say, in a CPA firm, let's say there are 10 CPAs. So individual CPA can be the partner in the firm, and he or she can also own another business as well, right? A member may own interest in a separate business, let's say ABC CPA firm and XYZ consulting services. ABC is a CPA firm and XYZ is a consulting service that perform for the client services for accounting, tax, financial planning, litigation, or other services for which standards are promulgated by the designated AICPA council. Right? So here it is possible that member can be the part of the CPA firm and they can also be the part of other business. So there is no restriction to it. If a member individually or collectively does not control separate business, the provision of professional code of conduct would apply to the member of their action, no control over XYZ consulting firm. So for example, let's say there are 3 CPAs, CPA A, CPA B, CPA C, and they form a CPA ABC CPA firm, right? And now A, B, and C, let's say B is also being partner in XYZ consulting, but he or she do not have significant influence on XYZ consulting. So here the A, B, and C CPA firm is only need to follow AICPA rules and regulation. XYZ is not required to follow the AICPA rules and regulation, because in that firm the CPA do not have any significant influence. Make sense? So far so good. What is state law and regulation?
Yes, sir.
XYZ is a normal business, or it's also in the same industry?
No, maybe let's say it's a payroll management service company, or maybe like a production house, or maybe a management consulting service, not in the audit and attestation.
Okay, so if they would have been in that like industry, they individually they have to follow AICP rules and all regulations, right?
Yes, absolutely. Now come to the right hand side, which is AICPA Council resolution for the formation of the organization, CPA firm, and the name rules for the CPA firm. First, in majority of the financial interest in a firm engaged in attest service is owned by CPA. So if you look at like PwC, EY, KPMG, Deloitte, Grant Thornton, BDO, all these big consulting firm which has CPA firm, right? If you see, majority of their partners are CPAs, right? More than 50% of their partners are CPA, even though they have partners, they have directors, they have, you can say, executive directors, or they may have like president, vice president, which may be non-CPA, like they might be in consulting service. If you see like IT domain, if you see all these big consulting company, they are more into advisory business also, right? In advisory, they do IT consulting, they do management consulting, they do payroll management services, and there might be some other services which as a network firm they might be providing, but majority of the shareholder, majority of the partner should be CPA for that firm, right? That is the requirement of AICPA, to be a AICPA member firm. Make sense? Yes, no?
Yes.
Second is, any non-CPA owner should be actively engaged as a member of the firm, not be the investor only. For a CPA firm, if there is a non-CPA who is also being the owner, right? The owner should be less than 50% non-CPA, but he or she should also be actively involved in the activity of the CPA firm. He should not be just a you can say silent partner. He should not be just an investing partner in a CPA firm, right? Third is, there must be a CPA who has ultimate responsibility. So for each signing for any audit, attestation, any compilation or any review service, the person who is signing the respective financial information or financial statement would be ultimate responsible for that respective engagement, right? So here responsibility is being clearly laid down by the AICPA, who will be ultimate responsible if anything went wrong in that respective audit or attestation engagement. Make sense? Fourth is, non-CPA owner would be permitted to use the title. So here non-CPA is also permitted to hold the title as a principal, owner, officer, member, shareholder, president, but they cannot hold themselves out as a CPA, right? Only a qualified CPA can hold the title of a CPA. Make sense?
Yes.
Right? Feeling good?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we are about to hold this title for the lifelong. Next is, member should not permit any person to violate the rule. So CPA member should not allow other member to violate any rule of AICPA. Non-CPA owner would not be eligible for regular membership in the AICPA. So AICPA membership, only the CPA can take the regular membership, and non-CPA can also take the membership, but they need to pay higher fee for it, right? And the membership do have certain benefits for the CPA. They will get a lot of interpretation, they will get a lot of webinars invite, seminars invite, they will get a lot of guidance directly from the AICPA. So those all are being available to the AICPA member. And if non-member wants to take the AICPA membership, they need to pay higher fee and they need to register themselves as a non-member. Right? Seventh is, if a non-CPA member perform compilation, then there must be a CPA who will be assuming the ultimate responsibility. Last one is, CPA remain responsible for financial and otherwise for any attest work performed to protect the interest of public, and CPA should comply with the state law and regulation, AICPA approved practice monitoring, independence rule, code of professional conduct and ethics, right? So ultimate responsibility in front of public is of CPA. Make sense? So these all are 9 rules under the AICPA Professional Code of Conduct.